Africa's time has come, and its turn has come. Unlike the first time of Pan-Africanism, Britain, France, and the United States can't stop it this time, because Pan-Africanism was stopped from the outside, not from the inside. It was stopped by a bullet in the head of Patrice Lumumba. It was stopped by repeated overthrows by the CIA and MI6, and it cannot happen anymore. They don't have the power, they don't have the space, and Africa can prevent it. So we need this Africa-wide investment program that invests first in the young people. This vast population increase is so promising if you invest in the skills of the young people. I believe that by 2050, Africa will be a high-income region. It will be a successful and growing region. It will be a region of peace, and it will be looked to throughout the world for partnership and for innovative solutions.
What contribution do you see from the African continent in terms of global manufacturing horsepower?
Oh, manufacturing? None, very little. Africa's a series of stacked plateaus, so just getting the infrastructure in there to access anything is very difficult. And while they do have very high birth rates and a more stable population structure, a lot of that is only possible because they export raw commodities and then import the things that allow them to have a degree of modernity. You break down global supply chains, a lot of that goes away. And so I think a lot of Africa is going to devolve. And they just don't have the infrastructure or the skilled labor that's necessary to participate at scale. And even if they did, in a less robust security environment, the connections necessary to make that happen are going to be very thin. So I think it's far more likely that the North American manufacturing system will start incorporating pieces of South America. We already have free trade deals with Colombia and Chile, for example. But yeah, I'm afraid that Africa really can't be part of that. Now, we might see pieces of Africa following the Indian model. I can see Nigeria becoming broadly self-sufficient. I can see a partial reboot of South Africa, but that's for their own domestic markets rather than any sort of international connection.
We're here to talk about the shifting global order and Africa's place in the shifting order. And I think we all feel, we know, we are seeing geotectonic shifts of a magnitude and a speed that are astounding right now. So we're all trying to keep our balance a little bit and try to understand what is happening in the world. There are at least 4 basic, deep transformations underway, or you could say disruptions underway in the world system. Maybe I could even divide it into one more, because I was going to say geopolitical, technological, ecological, and demographic. But let me start with the economic changes, then the geopolitical, then the technological, ecological, and demographic. So I'll count 5 very deep changes that are underway, and they're all occurring simultaneously and in a strongly interacting way. Perhaps the deepest underlying change is economic, and the most profound change in the world economy is that the industrial age had privileged one small corner of the world, the North Atlantic region, basically the United States, Britain, and continental Western Europe, for about 150 years, from around 1800 to 1950. Of course, there's a long story that precedes that. As long as the West controlled the world system, as long as the West colonized Africa, development could not occur, because colonial powers are not interested in development of their colonies, period. They're interested in exploiting their colonies. They're interested in quiet. They're interested in control. They're not interested in education, in infrastructure except to the mines, like in this region, or to the plantations, but they're not interested in broad-based development. So in 1950, if you took a snapshot of the world, almost all of the industrialization of the world was in Europe or the United States, or to a small extent, the other offshoots, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and this is the main point that I want to stress. So it's a long basic point to get to the bottom line. From 1950 onward, of course, depending on the specific history of each region, it became possible to have autonomous development in sovereign areas of the world. Before that, under the European system, it was not possible. It was not occurring. But after 1950, it could occur. And step by step, it has occurred. Not everywhere and not evenly and not what we want in Africa, because the main change has been in Asia up until now. However, with a lot of change in Africa, to be sure, just not at the depth and speed and success that could have occurred had geopolitics and history been somewhat different. So the first of these major changes in the world is that for the first time in centuries, we are not in a Western-dominated world. And that's the second point, the geopolitics. Not only has the world economy dramatically evened out, though not fully, but of course, world power has also shifted tremendously in the same direction. So the third dimension that has come along with all of this is the technological revolution that's underway. It's not independent of the first two. In fact, the technological revolution, the digital revolution, which has been underway for about 90 years now, the one region of the world where the population continues to grow rapidly is Africa. Africa's population grew 5 times from 1950 till today. It's 1.5 billion. According to the medium forecast of the UN, Africa's population will reach 2.5 billion at mid-century and about 3.7 billion in 2100. And in percentage terms, this means Africa's population was 9% of the world population in 1950.
The white man's original tactic of divide and conquer, separate and rule is still his most cherished weapon against African people. You see, understandably, when people look at America up until now being, quote unquote, the most powerful country in the world, if you want to get down with the most powerful country in the world, you're going to have to despise who they despise. And since America has done such a great job despising African people, anybody who wants to come to this country, even if they are African, are going to seek somebody else's company other than ours. Right? That doesn't make what they do right. But we have to look at the fact that we as African people in America haven't done a whole lot collectively to make ourselves the power base we should be for all African people. With our education, with our income, being the richest group of African people in the world in terms of take-home pay, we should be the power base for African people throughout the world. Y'all need institutions, we're going to fund them. Y'all have a problem with your water, we're going to fund that. You understand me? You got a medical crisis, we're going to take care of that. We have the resources, we got the personnel, we got the expertise, we got the money. We should be the power base. So when an African comes to America from outside of this country, they say, well, wait a minute now. If I align myself with the African American, what is in that for me? Because I don't even see the African American doing anything for themselves on a collective basis. We have success, but it's all individual. Right? There's very few institutions that we run and control independently. Let's take take it to Little League. When you go for the Little League football team or the basketball team, do you go try out for the team that's losing every year? Or do you want to be on the championship team? Most children want to be on the championship team. So when Africans from the diaspora come to America, they see two teams. The black team that has lost 157 straight Super Bowls since the end of slavery, right? And the white team that seem like they still winning and doing great. I want to align myself with the white team. Now, the mistake that Africans in the diaspora are making is that if you do not link up with us, your national homeland will never be free either. See, what they do to African people anywhere, they do to African people everywhere. So if you come from Nigeria, you come from Ghana, you come from Jamaica, you come from Turks and Caicos, you don't associate with African people, you go get you a snow bunny, move up on the west side, you can do all that. All African people in America who are not practicing Pan-Africanism are simply tools that are being used that have an expiration date. And when your utility to the white power structure expires, you will too, and they will send you back home.
All right, welcome back, my people. I hope that you are doing good as we dive in this conversation. And today I presented you videos. The videos, those are not Africans. Those who are not black people. All right, those who are white Americans. And I presented you a video of Jeffrey Sachs. This is a professor, the white professor, who is really doing so great in defending of Africa and the black people matters. And Africa for so long has been looked down. People have been taking Africa for granted. But Africa was made to be great. Africa was made to be great. But the world never accepted. The world never taken Africa seriously until the time we as Africans, we have decided that we want to fight for our own. We want to free ourselves, and we want to make the world believe that we were meant to be great and we have to be great. So why do you think today the white Americans are coming out to admit the truth about how they are losing Africa? Because time is changing, and once the time changes, everything changes. Because today things are not working as how it was. Africa or Africans today are not begging for freedom. Today Africans are not begging for their rights. Today Africans are not begging to free themselves from oppressors. But we are waking up, we are standing up, and we go for what we want, what we believe and believe that it belongs to us. So today, these are the white Americans, and they are trying to warn their president Donald Trump to free or to hand off Africa. Because for so long, these people have been fighting for themselves. These people have been trying to fight on how to free themselves from the hand of oppressors. The Africa has been a provider of the world. The Africa has been the provider of everything. Every kind of mineral resources has been coming out of Africa. People have been taking advantage to come and do whatever they want to do in Africa. They go to build their own countries, and they leave Africa in a poor situation. And again, at the same time, they are the same people who are coming out to accuse Africa, to expose Africa in a negative way, talking on how Africa is poor, how Africa is dirty. So at this time, let me give an example. Today, we are having a G20 summit, which is being held in South Africa. This is the first time G20 is being held on African ground or on African soil. In South Africa, because South Africa is the only country that is a member of G20. But you've seen Donald Trump has boycotted, and American government has boycotted to go and attend that summit just simply because it is being held in Africa, and because they have never respected Africa, because they have never seen Africa as a great continent or as a best place. Today he's coming up with a lot of accusation that in South Africa there is no peace. In Africa there is white genocides. In Africa there is a systematic persecution against the white farmers. So all this is just to make it, or to avoid not to come to Africa, because he don't believe or he don't trust that something like that can be held in Africa, and maybe people just do it peacefully, because they have underrated Africa so much. So today, these are the white Americans themselves who are coming out, who are watching, and they see the vision. They see beyond our thoughts. They see that the coming future, that today things are no longer working as how it was. Today, people from Africa have changed. Today, people from Africa are coming out, and they're doing great things. So who are you? Not to obey or to respect the time, because you can't hide the truth for so long. You can't hide the truth forever. You can't hide truth lifetime, because all this truth that you've been hiding, it is the same that is coming out today, and it's coming out boldly, and it's hitting so hard, so much. And the people are not ready to accept this. The world are not ready to receive this, because they have never expected such thing to happen. They have never expected or ever thought such thing can happen in Africa. So either people agree or disagree, Africa is rising, and Africa is not going on the battlefield to fight. Africa is coming up with a different invention, different ideas. We're watching how African Americans are relocating to Africa. This is the beginning of African unity, because at this time we are only fighting towards the agenda of Kwame Nkrumah of the 2063 agenda of African unity. Because I believe that if Africa unites, we cooperate, we work together, we speak one voice, then a lot of things are going to be done. A lot and great things are going to be done. Today, people are trying to have fear in Africa, maybe because of how things are happening. Today, we have seen how a French or Europe is suffering because they were eliminated or expelled from West Africa. Today, we're watching how the great people are rising from Africa, how the youths are coming out, resisting from the foreign policies, fighting against the imperialists, fighting against their puppet leaders who are submissive to the foreigners. All these things that are happening, you know what? Sometimes whenever we make these kind of videos, we get some comments. People are asking if all that we're talking about Africa unity, if maybe it will come to happen, or we're just making stories. Let me tell you something. There's some people youth today who are doing great things. There's some people today, the youth of Africa, who are going on the street, they're demonstrating, they're fighting for freedom and their rights. But you know what? Most of them don't know why they are doing this. Some of them maybe just think that that maybe they're just going to do it because some people are doing, or maybe they're doing it because it has to be done. No. All that's being done today is something that was expected that one day it will come to happen. All that is happening today, let me tell you today, all that is happening is not accidentally, but it's a prophecy, it is a spiritual awakening. There are some people who were killed. There were some people who were assassinated. There were some people, African or the blacks, who were enslaved many years ago. It never ended well. It never went in vain. All that happened during that time, it is today repeating itself, because they had the best vision towards Africa. That's why today their vision and their truth is coming out, and it's turning against the people who oppressed them. Today, the people who oppressed Africa are the same people today who are being oppressed. Why? Because they eliminated the innocent souls of the people who had only the best vision towards their people, who were only dreaming on how to deliver their people, who were only working on how to liberate their countries. But there are some people who took who took advantage in their actions and felt like these people are like a threat. They're destroying their agendas, because the white people, when they were coming here in Africa, they had different agendas. They had their different visions. Their a vision and agenda was only to come and loot and steal from Africa, nothing else. So when the time some of the African leaders started to rise and started to awaken other people and started to expose the influence of the foreigners or the people from the West, that's when the problem started, and their life was scheduled. So today, a lot of things is happening, and we are all watching. These are not things that we are watching happening, or we are not being told, or watching from the or getting from the history. The history is there, but again, we are watching this happening before our eyes. So we are here to go on back of the time, because time is the final thing. Time is all that we need. And because there are some white Americans who have come to know the truth, that's why they are coming out to warn their own people that we have to leave these people, because it's their time. And when the time comes, no one can stop it. No one can stop the time. And that's why you see all that's happened today. It is something that there are some people who died and they believed that one day our debts will be paid. One day all our struggle will bear fruits. And they believed in the coming generation which is living today. So whatever you as African or the black people or the black person you are doing and believing that maybe you are fighting for the change, you are doing the right thing because this is the right time. So I will not take much of your time because we have a lot to discuss. But for today, I will end this today here because I know that maybe you have something to put across or something to put as your views. Then the comment section is clear for you. I will make sure that I respond to each and question or comment that pops in my comment section because I am doing this so that we can put our views together, we can discuss and know what's supposed to be done as Africans, as we are in this journey fighting for the liberation and the revolution of Africa. I believe that all will be well as the God of Black is fighting for us. That's why we are winning the battles that we are not fighting on the battlefield. Until next time, episode will come with the same. Thank you very much for being here each and every day. I love you and I appreciate your support because you're doing great and may you be blessed reaching from. Peace out.